But first, Joe's European giveaway. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, after Kamala's disastrous trip to Central America, you can see why the media, they're desperate to switch topics. So her avoidance of the border reflects so badly on the administration that the only way they could turn the page was to feature Biden appearing strong, right, in command and eager to re-engage with Europe. There was one little problem, though. Joe Biden.
In Libya, we should be opening up the passes to be able to go through and provide food assistance and vital assistance to a population that's in real trouble. For example, the rebuilding of Syria, of Libya.
Wait. How does Mr. Foreign Policy mix up Syria with Libya? Wait a second. I gotta say, guys, this is unfair. It's confusing because both countries do end with the "ia" sound at the end. So it is very confusing. Well, the entire G7 and its aftermath reminded me of how hard it is to take, like, elderly relatives, and many of you have done this before. You want to take them out of their retirement home for the day and show them some, fun times and some activities. And then they end up just spending much of the time pretending to understand what's going on around them, right? And then the rest of the time, they just seem bewildered to the point where their minders, sometimes us, have to politely try to cover for them.
Vladimir Putin laughed at the suggestion that you had called him a killer. Is that still your belief, sir, that he is a killer?
I'm laughing, too. They actually... Well, look, I mean, he has made clear that... the answer is, I believe he has in the past essentially acknowledged that he was, there are certain things that he would do or did do.
The short answer is yes. President Biden very clearly still believes President Putin is a killer, but you could see the strategic calculation as he was deciding where he was going to go with that answer and then how he ended it, making clear that this is the reality.
That was the minder translating Joe for you. Now, the entire event seemed like an ongoing exercise in elder abuse, complete with scam artists. Like this time, the Europeans, who spend their time patronizing the patient, all the while working to drain his bank account. Except in this case of elder abuse, it's America's bank account and our independence that's at risk.
It's great to have the U.S. president part of the club and very willing to cooperate.
Wir können mit neuem Elan an der Lösung dieser Probleme arbeiten. Und ich finde sehr gut, dass...
With Joe Biden, you sort of feel that he wants to, he's a great believer in the transatlantic alliance.
Of course, they're happy, and then the press was gushing.
In one way, Anna, he had them at hello, right? He was just there saying, I want to be a part of the G7. I want to be a part of the world community.
Yeah, I think they're relieved that the United States is in some ways the United States they remember, that you've got a more traditional American president.
Predictable, traditional, maybe a little boring, but I think we know which way the world prefers it.
Of course, that's the way the world prefers it. Nations like France and Germany prefer Biden because with him, they have outsized leverage. They'll get most of what they want, and then they'll give up nothing. Meanwhile, America gets stiffed, and our taxpayers, well, of course, we pick up the bill. Now, both the media and the Democrats, they want to keep this entire conversation, as you can hear it in the press coverage, just steeped in generalities. They don't want you to know what's actually in this 25-page G7 communique that Biden ended up agreeing to. Now, why don't they want you to know what's in it, if it's such a great accomplishment? Because it's a sovereignty-killing, prosperity-destroying series of policy pronouncements that would never get past our own Congress. Here are some of the lowlights. Vaccine passports, oh yay. If you're worried about being forced to show your papers for travel, well, you should be. Things sound ominous on the vaccine passport issue, with the G7 recognizing the need for a set of common standards for travel, including interoperability and mutual recognition of digital applications, testing requirements, and recognition of vaccination status. Well, how would any of this be possible without an actual digital vaccination certificate? Next item. Well, goodbye cars. Here's the relevant language here. We commit to accelerate the transition away from new sales of diesel and petrol cars to promote the uptake of zero-emission vehicles. Well, we kind of like Elon Musk. I've said that before, and I'm glad he's happy, but this isn't anything that Joe Biden has the authority or voter mandate to commit to. The big anti-fossil fuels umbrella provision is ripped right from that International Energy Agency report that we warned you about some weeks ago. Biden reaffirmed his commitment to the goal of net zero carbon emissions across all sectors of our economies and societies. My friends, this will destroy hundreds of thousands of the good-paying American jobs that are left here, drive up energy costs for every living American, devastate our national security as we'll lose our energy independence. Of course, the cost of everything's going up, fuel costs going up. Now, as part of this, Biden wants not only your car, your gas-powered car, but also he'd kind of like your fridge and your favorite lamp as well. The document references this nifty acronym called SEED, S-E-A-D, which refers to Super Efficient Equipment and Appliance Deployment Initiative, requiring new systems by 2030. So get ready to shell out big bucks. If you liked low-flow toilets, you'll love paying more while you're getting less from all your appliances. But a few groups, I've got to say, will do just fine in this G7 document, like Wall Street and global bureaucrats. Now, this comes from the goal to jointly mobilize $100 billion per year from public and private sources for meaningful mitigation actions. What's that? And increasing public climate finance contributions. I'm going to translate this for you. You're going to pay more for a lower standard of living while bureaucrats make more money. And along with this Greeniac boondoggle are sweetheart deals for Wall Street. They're going to be cashing in as governments, quote, develop the global green finance market in order to, quote, mobilize the trillions of dollars of private sector finance needed to meet net zero emissions. So it's kind of like during the pandemic, even when American families got poorer, big corporate interests got a lot richer. Of course, though, no Biden buy-in would be complete without a nod to the gender fluidity crowd. The document pretends to safeguard women and girls' empowerment, while at the same time supporting diversity, including of sexual orientations and gender identities. Okay, this is the Angle shorthand for you, kids. Boys and men should be able to play and even dominate girls' and women's athletics. 3 manly cheers for girl power. So what did Biden get for all this nonsense that will weaken the U.S. vis-a-vis our G7 counterparts? Remember, during the campaign, he bragged that under a Biden administration, he, with all his foreign policy experience, was going to be able to use his influence with our allies to get tough on China. Instead, he comes home with a limp, pointless statement saying, we will continue to consult on collective approaches to challenging non-market policies and practices. We will cooperate where it is in our mutual interest on shared global challenges, in particular addressing climate change and biodiversity loss. Yeah, I'm sure China's going to be up late at night about that. They go out of their way, by the way, not to offend China by including only a very tepid, very general, bland mention of respecting human rights without ever mentioning the Uyghurs by name. And of course, they'll never use the word genocide. This is a complete abdication to China they are celebrating tonight. It's a total failure on the part of Joe Biden. In response to this, all of this, Republicans on the Hill have to get their messaging right and deliver it with precision and clarity. It should go something like this. For our alliance to survive with the G7 countries, it must be between America and our foreign partners, not our foreign partners in the Democrat Party. But right now, Joe Biden is promising to write checks that he won't be able to cash. They're not going to be able to ever get the money from. Biden does not have the power to agree to any of this, and he certainly doesn't have the support of the American people to do it. So we're going to put everyone on notice. We're going to retake the House next year, then we're going to retake the White House in 2024, and when we do, we're going to shred this document as soon as we can. Thus, when we get a president who's actually looking out for America's interest again, don't say we didn't warn you. This entire G7 exercise is a waste of time. It's completely invalid. Biden himself, though, seems to know he's in a bit of a jam given the political realities at home.
The Republican Party is vastly diminished in numbers. The leadership of the Republican Party is fractured, and the Trump wing of the party is the bulk of the party, but it makes up a significant minority of the American people.
I don't know who wrote that for him, but that was a nice try, Joe. But Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger make up about, I don't know, what, 2% of the GOP? The rest of it's America first, baby. Even CNN sees where this is headed, although it pathetically tries to tie the futility of the G7 meeting to January 6th somehow.
The European leaders, they trust President Biden. The relief at the G7 and NATO summits clearly palpable after 4 years of Trump. But do they trust the United States right now? Do they trust Congress in the aftermath, let's say, of January 6th and the insurrection on the U.S. Capitol?
Less so. And I mean, one of the reasons you saw no movement on climate finance, despite the fact that Biden brought the United States back into the Paris Climate Accord and has appointed John Kerry to a cabinet position on climate, is precisely because they don't believe that the U.S. legislature is going to get a lot done.
Yeah, well, hello. Of course they're not. Here's an idea. Let's have Joe Biden try to pass any of what he agreed to over in Europe through Congress. You know, that whole democratic process thing they claim to care so much about, the same one they claim was threatened on January 6th? Remember, when Donald Trump, happy birthday, Mr. President, traveled to these international confabs, the global elites were very gloomy. They knew he wasn't a sucker for their charades. America came first for him, and where we had shared goal with our European partners, he tried to forge common ground. That made sense. Macron and Merkel knew, though, that Biden was always going to be an easy touch, pun intended. A few references to Build Back Better in that communique was all it took to get his team of fools to agree to a document filled with Great Reset giveaways to special interests. Republicans have to make it crystal clear. Joe may be a cheap date, but America is not. Whatever his endearing, bumbling qualities, Uncle Chucklehead does not have the mandate for any of this. The voters who turned out for Biden did so thinking he'd protect our interests, not work against them. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.